Ladies and gentlemen, your hosts Kash Patel and Pam Bondi.
Welcome to the last and final Oscars in U.S. history. Y'all must be very proud of yourself. I bet you didn't expect us to be hosting. Now, if you will all take your seats while the bailiff locks the doors, we would like to read from our list. You're all under arrest.
I want to establish for you what happened yesterday, give you my take on it, and what should have happened. So, the problem with yesterday was optics. It's always the problem. I'm not going to call anybody out, all right? I know everyone, okay? So it's like I know everyone here. So everyone from Kash to Pam. We're the reason this all happened. In part, we're part of the reason this happened. If I may be so frank with you, we are the first people, and you just pop it up. I don't need the audio, but we are the first people to just ask Pam Bondi about this. And I want to take a little bit of ownership in bringing us to this moment where this is such a lightning rod. Because we asked, because we listened to you. And you say, this is important. We want to find out. Like, wait a second. Is there a dark, secretive, pederast cult at the inside of our government? And we asked Pam. We know Pam. And she said, I got the list on my desk right now. Whoa. This clip played on Fox News, MSNBC, CNN. This was written up in every publication. Pam Bondi has the Epstein list on her desk. It's burning a hole through her desk. Yesterday at the White House, there were influencers who were present, and the influencers were handed a binder that said declassified Epstein documents. Those influencers, some of them, what I believe is a tactical mistake. Didn't treat that evidence, I believe, with the caution and solemnity that is required. And this is the nature of influencers, right? Taking selfies, TikToks, things like that. It is what it is. I think it's unfortunate because there were hundreds of victims, thousands, depending on which reports you read. If you go through and you read the testimonies of the young women who were being trafficked here, they're, of course, horrendous. And these are the people we're fighting for. And by proxy, we're actually fighting for every child that would be trafficked. Remember, the Biden administration lost 300,000 children. What's that about? So anyway, I'm not going to spend my entire show like shaming people. That's not, I think, productive. But I am going to give you my take on this because optics are important. And it can't be seen as like it has to be treated with weight and seriousness. Final thing, I mean, listen, I like to view the world glass half full, silver linings. We typically try and do like a fun and lighthearted show. All 2 hours yesterday were about like darkness and seriousness and the true striking at the heart of the empire here. And some topics require absolute seriousness, is what it is. So, mistake, all right? Second mistake was that what was inside of the binders were, unfortunately, files that we already have, flight logs that we already have. Yes, they do have Bill Clinton's name on them. Yes, they have been out since 2016. Our production team was able to rip through this binder in about 5 minutes and find that not only does this binder include already public information, but it includes redacted information that was already made public. It's like, what the hell? So unfortunately, we just didn't get anything yesterday. All right, and I think that some mistakes were made. And I'm, not the only one that believes this. Many commentators, in fact, the vast majority of the internet, of course, is frustrated about this. So where do we lay the blame? So let's step away from the optics here, all right? And let's look at what did we learn yesterday? Because we did learn a single piece of information. We learned that the Southern District of New York FBI field office is withholding a massive treasure trove of information. Here's the letter that Pam Bondi sent. If there's one piece of new information, this is it. Director Patel, before you came into office, I requested that full and complete files be released of Jeffrey Epstein. In response to your request, I received approximately 200 pages of documents, which consisted primarily of flight logs, Epstein's list contacts, and the victims' names and phone numbers. We knew this already. It took our production team exactly 5 minutes with that binder to rip through it and find nothing, okay? We knew it. We've seen it. Yes, Bill Clinton did fly on Epstein's Lolita Express. He did fly on that plane 26 different times. He did have many names in his address books. Members of the Hollywood elite, reporters, bankers, financiers, hedge fund managers. It's all there, okay? But that's just his address book. It's not his little black book. It's not his client list. So what was delivered to Pam Bondi was publicly available information that's been publicly available for 15 years. It's been publicly available, some of it since 2016, some of it before, some of it after. Pam Bondi continues. I repeatedly questioned whether this was the full set of documents responsive to my request and repeatedly assured the FBI that we had received the full set of documents. Whoo, baby, do we have something cooking for you on this? Late yesterday, I learned from a source of the FBI field office in New York that they are in possession of thousands of pages of documents related to the investigation and indictment of Jeffrey Epstein. Despite my repeated request, the FBI never disclosed the existence of these files. When you and I spoke yesterday, you were surprised that I had learned this information by 8 a.m. tomorrow. That's today. The FBI will deliver the full and complete Epstein files to my office, including all records, documents, audio, video recordings, and materials related to Jeffrey Epstein and his clients, regardless of how that information was obtained. There will be no withholding or limitations to my access. The Department of Justice will ensure that the public disclosure of these files is done in a manner that will protect the privacy of the victims in accordance with the law, and I will do as I have done my entire career as a prosecutor. I'm also directing you to conduct an immediate investigation into why my order was not followed. You will deliver me a comprehensive report of your findings proposed to the personnel within 14 days. I appreciate your immediate attention to this matter. I know that we are both committed to transparency for the American people, and I look forward to continuing your work with you and President Trump to serve the country. I want to bring you to an article here that we've referenced multiple times on this program. The FBI has thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, of documents, CDs, passports, pictures, videos of Jeffrey Epstein, amid suspicions that the pedo was linked to Mossad, which, of course, we effectively know that he was an intel asset. Let's scroll through this article, shall we? Let's go ahead and look at some of these images, shall we? Look at the number of CDs and hard drives here in this photo from the U.S. District Attorney's Office, Southern District of New York. Wow. Look at the next one. Look at all these items. You want to talk about a black book? Look at all the black books. Look at all these. Inside of Jeffrey Epstein's safe that was cracked. Let's go ahead and look, shall we? Scroll. There you go. Exactly. This one's particularly fascinating. Oh, you're going to love this one, ladies and gentlemen. This is something that they found, a giant bin. I'm not sure if we can zoom. If we can zoom, please zoom as much as we can on this image. The yellow tape. What does it say? The FBI was shocked, they said this in their testimony, to see that Jeffrey Epstein had a massive box that was already labeled evidence and was labeled, you can see it right there. Jeffrey Epstein was in possession. What are these? These are hard drives. Like, these are recording devices. What you would have, we were talking about this prior to the show, okay? These are old school recording devices, hard drives that you would have inside of a security system. When they're full up and you want to keep all the tape and you don't want to delete any of the evidence, you would keep it in something like this. Jeffrey Epstein wrapped his security tape hard drives, presumably what would be the videos from his mansions, ranches, islands. That's what this is. You can see it right here on screen. This box was labeled. You can see the label right there, right in the corner. You can see a Sharpie on the top of the box. Can you scroll over? Sharpie on the top of the box, right there on the lid. Scroll. There you go. Right there. That's labeled insurance policy. Not going to yell. You guys got to understand how much righteous indignation we have, how furious we are right now. The box is labeled insurance policy, and inside are hard drives with yellow tape around them that say evidence. Well, we only have 200 pages. That's all we got. These effing liars. It's going to make me go insane. And then here's what the influencers yesterday were handed. Here's our own video of the actual documents. There it is. You see this? This was taken by our team. This is what they were handed yesterday. So I just showed you a box of physical video evidence that was marked insurance policy. And then this is what was handed to people yesterday. Do you see the difference? What's going on here? Well, you know what's going on here. It's a massive institutional cover-up. We're going to dive in. Let's go. Who's doing this at the FBI in New York? And why? Oh, man. Let's begin with FBI Director Kash Patel, because he's made a single statement on this, because this was a bit of a PR issue yesterday, obviously. The FBI is entering a new era, one that will be defined by integrity, accountability, and an unwavering pursuit of justice. There will be no cover-ups, missing documents, and no stone left unturned. Anybody from the prior or current Bureau who undermines this will be swiftly pursued. If there are gaps, we will find them. If records have been hidden, we will uncover them. And we will bring everything we find to the DOJ, fully assessed with transparency, disseminated to the American people as it should be. The oath we take is to the Constitution. Under my leadership, that promise will be upheld. So this is Kash Patel saying, F around, find out. Okay. I mean, he's in the job, hasn't been in the job even a week. It's like, let's give him a second on this. Please. Anna Paulina Luna was pissed at this, by the way. Anna Paulina Luna says that she's going to be working directly with Tulsi Gabbard to declassify these efforts. But can we get her original post? Can we get her original post on this? Because she was upset about this. I'm not trying to take sides, nor am I trying to flame anyone. I know everyone. We know all these people. You see them live on the show. I'm not trying to, there's a reason why no administration has released the Epstein documents. The reason why is that it's a live hand grenade. And you're implicating the most powerful people on earth. And you're actually implicating entire government systems. That's the problem. Paulina Luna was pissed yesterday. I nor the task force were given any of these Epstein documents to review. New York Post story just reviewed the documents and simply said this was Epstein's phone book. This is not what we, the American people, wanted. This was not the information that we asked for. Instead, they're leaking old info to the press. Let's pop on over here to this End Wokeness tweet here. I just want to show you one more photo from inside of Jeffrey Epstein's raided townhouse. Get a load of this. Here's his safe. This is Jeffrey Epstein's safe. The other two photos you've already seen. Would you look at that? You know what those are? Boxes of diamonds. Can we explain? We did a lot of coverage of Hunter Biden's diamonds that he was given by the Chinese. Can somebody explain this? Where did he get all these boxes of diamonds? Where did he get his money? You know what's in the manila envelope right there? The manila envelope has multiple foreign passports. Where'd you get those? What countries are they from? Oh, I wonder. Can we explain that? Somebody? Inside of this safe, which the FBI had to crack open, what you can also see right there, the blue books. You see the blue books right there on top? You'll see these blue binders. What's the blue binders? Those blue binders are CDs. CDs filled with photographs and videos. I mean, obviously you're talking about a raid that happened 7 years ago. People kept data in a different way. But you can see also right there is a hard drive. What's on that? Oh, we don't know. We just give Pam Bondi like this is all we have. The FBI says this is all we got. Sorry. Well, there's literal physical evidence of you having terabytes of information, voluminous numbers of passport. You ever seen a photo of Jeffrey Epstein's passport? Why not? You ever seen photos of the amount of diamonds he had stashed there? Why not? Why not? What's in there? This is the photo evidence. Benny, you're crazy. These photos are from the government. These photos are from the same District of New York that now Pam Bondi says is refusing to hand over the evidence. And I wonder why, ladies and gentlemen. I really do wonder why. Let's go ahead and explore the Comey connection, shall we? We've spent a little bit of time giving some chin music to Comey this week on the show. Well, wouldn't you know it, somebody named Maureen Comey. Man, that has a ring to it. Who's Maureen Comey? I've heard that name before. Any relation? Oh, yes, James Comey's daughter. And she still works for the damn FBI. And she's in charge in the Southern District of New York. You should be shocked to learn she's the United States attorney for the District of New York, Southern District of New York. James Comey's own daughter. You'd be shocked to learn that she actually worked on the Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein, and the Diddy investigations. Oh, what are the chances? What are the chances? This is obviously the documentation here. Can we zip on over to Maureen Comey's LinkedIn account? You can see here. United States Assistant U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York. How long has she worked there? Oh, almost 10 years. Southern District of New York is where all evidence goes to die. And what evidence would they be hiding from Jeffrey Epstein? Let's pop on over here to a very interesting little document that I wanted to put out for your consumption. We spent hours yesterday on the show talking about how Jeffrey Epstein was working for Intel. Probably a hybrid between our CIA and Mossad, right? Given his past, given the connections to Bill Barr's father, who first hired Jeffrey Epstein, who didn't even have a college degree, to work at the elite Dalton School in New York. Bill Barr's father worked for the OSS, which eventually became the CIA. And then his madame, Ghislaine Maxwell, her father worked for Israeli intelligence, worked for Mossad, got a state funeral in Israel. And so you put them both together and you have CIA and Mossad. But then it gets even easier than that. I mean, that's like a two-step binary process, duh. But it gets even easier. Here we go. Would you look at this? The FBI's own documentation. Right on down here to the red part of the red part of this affidavit here. The agent is advised, this is when Epstein was sprung from prison. You can note that this is in Palm Beach. This is from the Miami field office. Epstein is provided information and has provided information to the FBI that we agreed upon. Case agent is advised that no federal prosecution will occur in this matter, as long as Epstein continues to uphold his agreement with the state of Florida. Case agent also advised that no further forfeiture assistance will be required in this case. The case agent is requested to contact the writer in the event the matter moves forward in the federal level. No further forfeiture. Wow. So Jeffrey Epstein, in his child prostitution case in Florida that we talked about, that's the only time he caught a case, He's found guilty of child prostitution. He's found guilty of all the horrors that you knew about, Jeffrey Epstein, everything you could possibly imagine. This was in the Bill Clinton flying around the world days, right? Bill Clinton immediately left the White House and went right onto Jeffrey Epstein's plane. The first flights, and these were the logs that we were given yesterday, they're interesting, but they're not new. The first flights started occurring right around this time. And here comes Jeffrey Epstein with the child prostitution charges. And then Jeffrey Epstein gets the plea deal of all plea deals. He effectively walks scot-free. When asked about this, the district attorney there, a man named Alex Acosta, said, higher powers forced me to do it. That's a literal quote. Higher powers. He was intel. He was working for and with the FBI. The FBI was permitting this to happen. They wanted it to happen. They needed it to happen. Why do they need it to happen? Oh, boy. And why does the FBI protect Jeffrey Epstein to this day? There's something called the unified theory of government. This is something that was incepted by Bill Barr's father. Bill Barr, the man who had Jeffrey Epstein killed in prison, and we covered that in detail yesterday. Happy to talk about it all day. We have an incredible slate of guests. Maybe we will talk about it. Bill Barr had Jeffrey Epstein killed. Bill Barr's connection to Jeffrey Epstein is obvious. His father was Jeffrey Epstein's boss. How's that allowed? Why didn't Bill Barr recuse? Bill Barr's law firm worked to spring Jeffrey Epstein from prison under these circumstances. You can see here in the document, this Bill Barr's law firm worked on this case. Sprung Epstein from jail. The unified theory of government that was incepted by Bill Barr's father, Donald Barr, is the theory that there is no American democracy. There is no American republic. It's all facade. It's all fake. It's not real. We're going to create something called the deep state. The deep state is going to be the permanent state. It's going to exist outside of the law, outside of constitutional order. It's going to exist outside of the ability of the American people to tell us what to do. We're going to sit as an unelected government over the government. We're going to actually tell the government what to do, not the people. We're going to invert the very light at the spark of light at the inception of this country. We're going to flip it and we're going to make it darkness. A government for the people, by the people, of the people. Nope, we're going to invert that. A government for the bureaucracy, of the bureaucracy, for the child pederasts. That's what these people created. I'm not saying that all of them would be Jeffrey Epstein's clients, let's just say, okay, in the kindest of terms. What I'm saying is they'll allow Jeffrey Epstein to operate. The purpose of Jeffrey Epstein was to create compromat on people like Bill Clinton and Bill Gates, on the entire federal government, the royal family. The more compromising material you have on these powerful people, the more power the permanent state gets. As long as they have as long as Clinton knows you got all these videos, please put up the photos of evidence from Epstein's apartment. As long as Clinton knows that you got all these videos of him on the island, which they do have on the island. Something I wanted to play yesterday, totally spaced. Yo, check this out. Here's photos of FBI agents raiding Epstein Island. They actually flew drones over the island, catching the FBI raiding the place. Look at this. This is Little St. James. Look at that massive box of evidence. You see that? Look at those massive boxes of evidence. It's like in a reflection here. It's kind of janky video because some dude's flying like a drone. And he's not allowed to. These guys are carrying out these massive boxes of evidence. So look at the FBI uniforms that they're wearing. Oh, we got no evidence. We only gave Pam Bondi 200 pages. They're such liars. Look at this. This is the raid on Jeffrey Epstein's island when he died, when he was killed, when he was murdered. no, we only have 200 pages. We got nothing else. This is the heart of darkness that they're up against, man. It's never going to be an easy job. And it's so embarrassing. Who about go back to the raid footage? It's so embarrassing that they believe that they can just push around Pam Bondi and Kash Patel like this. So it's why we started the show off by saying this is going to be the single greatest battle against darkness versus light of our lifetime. What a mess. Oh, wow. Oh, yep. Look at all those agents only getting 200 pages of redacted documents. Would you look at that? Oh, and look at that. The Southern District of New York. There's the literal office. You have NYPD investigators there. You see the NYPD? They're going to be answering. They're going to be putting all of that evidence inside of the FBI's coffers. Look at that. Look at that. And then they cover up the windows. Isn't that amazing? Look at that. Oh, wow. Freaking brilliant, isn't it? Oh, brilliant. And then they cover it up. What a perfect metaphor for this moment. The cover up. Oh, jeez. And all you got to do to see why you have never seen any of this is go right back to this document. Now, hold on. Before we move off this, Klein, I just want to show you guys. Do you see in the reflections here? If we can get big, let's go big on this. Do you see in the reflections here in the window? Please watch in the window the reflections. Do you see those giant boxes they're carrying out? How an army of FBI agents are carrying out whole boxes of evidence? Those are the hard drives. Those are the cameras. Jeez. What a disaster. They're lying to our faces. And this is why they're covering it up. You need any further evidence? This is why they're covering it up. Here's the document. Jeffrey Epstein was working with the FBI. Epstein provided information to the FBI, and we agreed upon the case. Agents advised no federal prosecution will occur in this matter as long as Epstein continues to uphold his agreement. So we're just going to let him rape kids forever. This is what they decide. So again, do you understand that every person that ever touched this and every person that ever led the FBI over the last 20 years, that every one of them is now implicated in this, allowing this to continue? Every one of them will now face a charge. Do you realize how big this is? We talked about it. Entire federal bureaucracies are going to come collapsing down because they protected this up. These people don't have any morals. They'll kill. General Flynn's on the show this week. They'll kill. He said they tried to kill me, says Flynn. They'll kill. They have no morals. They don't care what happens to children. They don't care. All that matters is the end result, which is they gain more power to destroy the facade of democracy or a republic that we have in this country. So this is the trench warfare, the single greatest battle we've ever fought against the deep state, and this is why. Okay? This is why we got Jack yesterday. This is why we got nothing. Sadly, and I'm sad about it, okay? I'm sad about it. Glenn Beck says this is the civil war of our time. Let's have a listen. Glenn Beck's been on this issue, obviously, for a very, very long time. Glenn says we are in a dark civil war right now. Let's go.
Feeling from Pam Bondi and others is that the Southern District of New York, the FBI in the Southern District of New York, actually has the tapes and everything else and will not turn it over to the White House or to Pam Bondi. If that is true, and I understand Liz correctly, and Liz is going to be on my radio program tomorrow and my podcast tomorrow to talk about her experience. If that indeed is true, then we have a civil war on our hands, an internal civil war. You have a duly elected president, his duly elected confirmed leaders of the FBI and the Department of Justice, and then you have the Southern District of New York FBI and Department of Justice bucking the orders of the president and their direct bosses. There is no other way to describe it. If that is true, there is no other way to describe it than you have a department or two departments under the president that are in complete rebellion.
So, what happens next? What happens next? Is Jesse Waters last night explaining how tough this is going to be, how we are now in the inside of Helm's Deep, and this is the heart of darkness. Let's go.
When we began to feel duped, Pam Bondi released a letter that says, basically, I was duped too. In the letter addressed to FBI Director Kash Patel, Bondi basically says, I asked you for the full and complete files related to Jeffrey Epstein. I received 200 pages of documents. I asked if these were all the documents, and the FBI said yes. Late yesterday, I learned from a source at the FBI field office in New York was in possession of thousands of pages of documents related to the investigation and the indictment of Epstein. Despite my repeated requests, the FBI never disclosed the evidence of these files. Bondi's demanding by 8 a.m. tomorrow morning that the FBI deliver everything to her office, including all records, audio, video recordings, all materials related to Epstein. And she ensures DOJ will disclose everything. And she's directing Patel to begin an immediate investigation into why the FBI isn't following orders.
So we have ourselves a major problem here. And we haven't heard from the FBI or from the DOJ today. So we don't know. We don't know if they've... We have no idea if they've complied. We have no clue. But we do know who leads these agencies. The Comey family. It's so true. I mean, it's true. It's breathtaking that this rat's nest hasn't been cleaned out yet.